In this video, I'm going to take you through the gear that I use right here in the mobile and home studio in 2019, so that in 2020 and beyond, if you're looking to upgrade your audio or video gear, then you've got some ideas and suggestions. But if it's your first time here, who am I and what is this? Well, my name is Pete, and this is Studio Live Today, where my goal is to help you create, record, and release your best music. I do that through tips and tricks and tutorials and live stream videos just like this one. So if that's your bag, consider subscribing. So what are we talking about today? Well, we're talking gear, and all of the gear that we're going to talk about is linked down in the description. And you can also head over to studiolivetoday.com/gear, which I'll actually be showing you in just a few minutes, and you can check out all of the gear that I use. And all the gear we mentioned today is actually what I have in my studio, what I'm using right now. So this isn't Pete's gone out and picked a bunch of stuff that he doesn't even own or use. This is what Pete is using for recording audio and video right now. 2 quick points, and then we're going to dive straight into the gear, I promise. Please don't let a lack of gear stop you from recording. If it's your first time here and you haven't heard me rant on this before, you need to start creating, recording, and releasing your music now. I don't want to hear that I don't have $1,000 for all this gear, Pete, so I'm not going to record. No, you got a smartphone, you got a tablet, you've got, I don't care what you have, like the voice memos app on your phone. Start recording, start creating music. Use GarageBand, use whatever you have to make music. Don't let gear be the excuse. Number 2 is you don't need to rush out and buy everything tomorrow, right? So the beauty of the home studio, and especially the mobile studio, is you can build it up. You can add a component at a time. I certainly didn't go out and say, I need monitor speakers and headphones and an audio interface and a bunch of microphones and MIDI keyboards and everything all at once. I started slowly. I bought my first audio interface, and then I bought my first microphone. Then I upgraded to a better microphone. Then I got some headphones. Then I bought monitor speakers. And I did that all over about 2 years. So I'm not saying go out and buy these 13 items and then that's going to make your music great. I'm saying that if you reach the point where you're starting to get good with what you've got and you want to start leveling up and getting into that sort of mid-range, going from the budget up into the mid-range, this is the sort of gear that I'll be talking about here today. Thank you to the folks who are here live. We are recording this live. We've got a lot of the usual suspects and a bunch of new folks. We've got Scott's here. We've got Metallion. We've got Tabitha, Derek, Jade Star's here, and a bunch of people that I've definitely missed, DJ Southpaw, and Mobile Metal, and a heap of folks. So thank you for being here live. If you're watching on the replay, I love you too. If you have comments or questions about any of this, leave them down below. That's enough talking. Let's get in and get started with this. So what we'll do is I'm going to bring my screen up here. So I'm going to add that here. So what we have here is my studio gear guide. So this is what is over at studiolivetoday.com/gear. That's linked down in the description as well. So you can come over to here. Now, these are affiliate links. So full disclosure, a lot of the links that we have down here are affiliate links, which means if you click these and you make a purchase, then they break off a little chunk and they send it to me. So you're supporting the channel and you're getting new gear. You don't pay any more, but they just get a little tiny percentage and send it to me. So full disclosure up front for that. I've recently updated this, and you'll notice here we've got Pete's current setup for December 2019. And here is all of my current gear. And I've been keeping this updated month on month as I add and as I change things, but this is what I'm actually using. So, you know, spoiler alert, this is what we're talking about today. So all the audio interfaces, microphones, headphones, speakers, mixer, MIDI keyboard, lightning adapter, powered USB hub, and portable battery. All of the things essential to getting yourself kitted out and ready for 2020. Again, don't go and buy it all at once. You absolutely don't have to. This is just all of the gear that we have. All right. Let us come in and get started here. So we're going to start at the start with audio interfaces. So we're going to talk audio interfaces, and I've just got a new one. I've got the Steinberg UR22C. So let's click up over here. This is what it is. So if you've been around here for a while, you will know that I love Steinberg interfaces. And if you are wondering what is an audio interface, I should probably explain that first. Audio interface will take your microphones, your guitars, your keyboards, any of your analog recording instruments or microphones, and it turns it into a digital signal. So it plugs in via USB, and you can then send that signal over to your Mac, your PC, or your iPhone or iPad using a Lightning to USB adapter, which we will get to in just a few moments. So the reason that I love the Steinberg UR22C, let's zoom in and take a look at this sucker here. that's what the front of the interface looks like. We've got two inputs there, so you can plug in either two microphones or two mono inputs or one stereo input. So that's super handy. You've got separate input gains there that you can do. You can mix it in. You can use the inputs for either high Z, which is your quarter inch, or you can use them as microphone inputs. Got a headphone output and an audio output. And if we flip it around to the back, oh, that's the front still. Flip it around to the back. This is why I love Steinberg. You've got two different power sources. So you can power it up using the USB bus power, or you can power it using a separate 5-volt DC power, which means you can use a portable battery pack to actually power it up. Yeah, if you've got something like this that we'll talk about a bit later, like the ROMOSS QS10, you can actually power it up directly using that. You've got MIDI in and out as well. You've got 48 volts of phantom power, and you've got balanced line outputs. So I've owned the UR12 for a very long time. You can probably, well, you can't see the box behind me, but I have the box behind me there. And I've recently upgraded to this one. I was going to buy the UR22 Mark II, which is also available. And I also have in my gear guide if you wanted to check that out. But the UR22C came out and I thought, yep, that's what I want, because the only difference really is that it actually is a USB 3.1 connection as opposed to USB 2. But what will you use this for? Why do you need an audio interface? So if you want to plug in microphones, if you want to plug in your guitar, if you've got a keyboard you want to plug in, if you want to record any of those analog instruments. So these are best for people who are singer-songwriters or who are playing in bands. If you play guitar, if you are a vocalist, an audio interface like this is a really good investment for your home studio, and kind of the first thing that a lot of folks start looking at and will start playing around with when they get started. I realized that I actually have I have my camera set up here that I probably should have jumped to before, and this is a bit experimental, so I'm just going to try it out just for some fun. So if we can bring camera 2 in, please. Camera 2, camera operator, there it is. So you can see that I've actually got it set up here. It's plugged in, it goes in through my mixer, got my powered USB hub there, lightning to USB adapter. So yes, this is actually, it's not plugged in, it's not the audio you're hearing now, that's my mixer, which we'll talk about in a moment. But yeah, that is the setup that I have there. So I just thought that was fun that we'd add in camera 2 here today, just for a bit of fun. Alrighty, let's move on here. That is a great interface if you've got a Mac or a PC, or if you want to have like more of a desktop kind of setup. What if you're more on the go and you're a mobile creator, as I often am as well? Well, what you can do is go for something like this. iRig, IK Multimedia make a bunch of different iRig devices, and there it is there, but here it is here. So I actually have this one. I've been reviewing it here on the channel. There's a bunch of videos. If you search Pete Johns iRig, they'll all be there. Actually, I realized something, that on my gear guide over here, what I should actually add in, if we just go back to that, is I should actually link where it's got the name here. Why don't I link those to videos where I actually show them? That would be super useful, yeah? Because usually people watch a video and then they go to the gear guide. What if you go to the gear guide? I should have my videos linked there. Sorry, just thinking out loud there for a moment. But yeah, I think I need to add that in there. But why would you go with the iRig Pro IO over another interface? Well, a couple of reasons. It's 100% portable, so you can plug it straight in, and you've got a mic preamp and a guitar interface right here on this. You don't need a lightning to USB adapter. It comes with the cables included. It has MIDI as well, and it comes with MIDI cables included. So basically, whether you've got a MIDI keyboard, a microphone, a guitar, whatever you want to plug in, you can plug it in direct, and you can plug it straight into your iPhone or your iPad's lightning jack without any other adapters, and you're off to the races. What are the drawbacks? Well, it does drain a lot of power, so you may want to consider a separate power supply for it. And some say that the quality and reliability is not quite up there. I've had no reliability problems, but if, for instance, we jump back over and take a look at the Amazon review here, the reason that it gets a 3-star review there is that there are a lot of 1-star reviews. Now, what I actually prefer, when there's lots of 5 and 4s and lots of 1s, it's actually kind of better in my view, because it means that people, where it's failed a lot. And I read some of the reviews, and some people are like, it didn't work with my Samsung Android phone. And it's like, well, it's not really designed for that. And there's some other issues that people have had. So it may not be for everyone and for every scenario, but if you're looking for one device and a simple way to connect everything up to your iPhone or iPad, it is a good option. There's another version, which is, I think it's down the bottom here. No, it's not there. There's the dual version as well. So there's the duo version, which you can actually connect to. So it's stereo input. So you can connect two microphones or stereo input at the same time. So that is a good option. And by the way, 24-bit 96 kilohertz interface. So you're getting good quality there. No problems with that. Let's move on, because if you are just starting out, so that's great if you got 100 plus, almost $200 to spend. What if you are just starting out with an iPad particularly, or a smartphone with a headphone jack, and you want something a little bit more value for money? Well, I recommend this one. So this is basically like an iRig, but with a bunch more. So the Tascam IXZ or IXZ, it's less than $50 US. So it's a really affordable. You can see it there. In fact, once again, why don't I actually show you mine rather than looking there? So there it is, the Tascam IXZ. Good part about this is it is battery powered, 2 AA's, and you're off to the races. And it plugs in via the TRRS connection. So you plug it straight into the headphone jack. You can also use it with the lightning to headphone jack. So if you've got a more modern iPhone, you can plug it in via that jack. It's got headphone output here for monitoring, and you've got your mode selector there between guitar mode. So you can plug a 1/4-inch guitar, and it's got a preamp in this, which is actually a decent preamp with phantom power. So you can plug a condenser mic into this, plug it into your iPhone or iPad, and you're good to go. A really good little unit. Now, because it is analog, what it's going to do is it's still sending an analog signal out. So it's going to make your phone do the analog to digital conversion, which is not going to give you as high quality sound as using something like the Steinberg or the iRig that we showed before. But for entry level, or for something just to throw in your kit bag and take with you on the go, this thing is pretty darn good. And once again, it's down in the description and over at studiolivetoday.com/gear as well. We'll move on here, because one of the other things is if you've started recording, and obviously if you're buying an audio interface, you can plug your guitar in just with a guitar cable. But what about microphones? Now, I could and have done entire shows just about microphones, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pick the one microphone that, if you have $100 right now and you want to level up your microphone game, I recommend this sucker. And I recommend it because Mike from Creative Source recommended it to me, and many other people use it. It's kind of the home studio, mobile studio person's best friend. It is the Audio Technica AT2020. It is a very nicely made studio condenser microphone. It's simple, one polar pattern, no bells and whistles, but you plug it in, you put it in front of your face, and it gives you good sound. And it's great on vocals, also works really well on guitars. It's very sensitive, probably wouldn't use it on a guitar amp, but if you're using acoustic guitar, picking up acoustic instruments, your voice, your vocals, spoken word, great for podcasts, great for voiceover and live streaming. This is what I would go with. You might say, Pete, why have you got that there then? Why have you got the AE3300? I happened to pick this one up secondhand. So this microphone's about $100 microphone. This microphone's actually about a $300, $300 or $400 microphone. I just happened to pick it up secondhand for like about $180, I think. And it's, yeah, and I've been using it and testing it, and it's really cool. But I wouldn't recommend getting this, especially if it's your first or even your second microphone. My first microphone was the MXL 551 combo, which again is in the gear guide at studiolivetoday.com/gear. So they're the sort of things, like I'd spend that $50 to $100 range for a condenser microphone is going to give you good quality audio. And I've just realized that I've said, if you've got $100, and then I've looked at it, and right now it's actually $119.99, which is weird because I'm pretty sure it's cheaper than that here in Australia. Sometimes the prices vary a bit, but you can see there, because a microphone, there's really nothing that can go wrong with it. 75% of people give it a 5-star rating. So that kind of says a lot. People on Amazon don't give 5-star ratings generally, if they're real people, if it's not a good deal. So, and you can see there that it says purchase one time, because I have actually purchased one of these, which is that one you just saw there. So that is the Audio Technica AT2020, my go-to recommendation for a microphone these days. Let's continue on. Now, we've talked about audio interfaces and microphones, but what if you want to get started, and again, you're on a tighter budget and you just want something to get you some better quality audio into either your Mac or PC or iPhone or iPad? A USB microphone can be a great solution. And my go-to microphone, not only because it looks cool, looks like a little R2-D2, is this sucker. the Samson Meteor mic. This is the titanium black version. I have the chrome silver version. I usually have it out here. It's because it looks so cool and I show it, but I can't find it. Not that I can't find it. I know where it is. I just didn't get it out in time. But here it is. Oh, we've skipped over. Here it is in all of its glory. We have on the front there, you've got your volume control and your mute button, and it's got its own built-in little stand. It's also got a screw mount on the bottom there, so it can go onto a mic stand. It looks kind of weird. It kind of stands up in midair, but it does a good job. Let's see if we've got a picture of the back of it here. Doesn't seem to. It folds up neatly like that. Yeah, it doesn't actually show the back. This is why it's good for me to actually have mine here. So it doesn't actually show us. Yeah, see, there's the one I have, the chrome version. And yeah, none of them are going to show the back. But it is a very cool little microphone. It's got a headphone jack out. You can dial in the volume and you can, yeah, it's again, it's plug and play and it's simple and it gives you good quality audio. And for around, what, $50, $60 US, it's a good deal. If you're using it with an iPhone or iPad, you will need a Lightning to USB adapter. And I recommend the Lightning to USB 3 adapter, which we will talk about in just a few moments as well. So that is my pick of the USB. Now, you can spend $100, $200 to get USB microphones. Audio Technica make a USB version of, come over here, of the AT2020, the AT2020 USB-I, which is actually pretty cool because it comes with a lightning cable. So that's another option if you want to check that out. And other things, obviously the Rode NT USB, there's all of the Blue Yeti microphones are all good. The reason I keep coming back to the Meteor is for its price, its quality is actually kind of ridiculous. And Samson are pretty much in that range where for the quality you get, the price you pay is actually, it seems too low. And as you can see again, well, you can't see now because I took it away. See again, 4.5-star rating on that sucker. A heap of people, again, 71% say it's 5-star. So that just works out of the box, does what they want it to do, and it's great. And I can vouch for that because I have and use my Samson Meteor to this day. Let us continue on. We're cracking through my recommended products, well, the products I use here in the home studio and and the mobile studio. And we say mobile because the next one I'm going to recommend is one that folks have asked me about, and I'll put it out here because I use it for video. So if you've ever seen some of the videos that I do where I'm just using my iPhone and you're like, hey, how is his audio quality better than like what I get with the built-in mic or with my headphones? And this is the reason. It is this one. It is the Shure MV88. There's also the Shure MV88 Plus, which is a bit more expensive. So Shure, makers of the SM57, SM58, they are a great microphone maker. And this is a Lightning microphone. Again, it's very simple by design. It's plug and play, and you just plug it into your Lightning port and you're good to go. It's got a nice rotatable thing there. You can move it around. It's actually got, there's the whole kit that you get with it. It's got multiple polar patterns, which is pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing to have. You get the case there, you get the little fuzzy thing. You can get different stereo polar patterns to give it wider stereo or more narrow for like voiceover and narration. It is a premium product. So I was hesitant to put this out here, but people often ask me the question, what do you use to get your iPhone or your iPad audio good for videos? And it's this. It's the Shure MV88. Now, word of warning, the MV88, the model here, doesn't have a headphone jack, so it's not good for multi-tracking. So keep that in mind. If you're multi-tracking, you'll need the MV88 Plus, which does have a headphone jack, but it's a bit more expensive. Other options are the Zoom IQ7, which I did try. I didn't like as much, so I returned that, to be perfectly honest, and went for the Shure, just because the audio quality, the options, everything was really good out of the box. So that is my mobile microphone recommendation if you're in the market for improving your mobile sound. We'll continue on. Now, I've put these a bit further down the list, but really I probably should have put them higher up the list because they're what's on my head right now, and they're what I recommend as a pretty essential purchase. So a lot of the stuff we've talked about so far, you might be thinking, hey, Pete, I'm an electronic music producer. I produce a lot of virtual instruments. I produce sounds. None of this is important. I've never plugged a microphone in my life. Yep, that's cool. The one thing that is kind of universal across any producer is a decent set of cans, a decent pair of headphones that will give you good quality audio coming from whatever device you plug into. And these have been my go-to for a very long time. These are the Sennheiser HD 280 Pro, and they are just, again, all this gear. You might have noticed a bit of a trend here. None of the gear I've showed you is like super complex. Have you noticed how none of it has lots of buttons and dials and things until the mixer, but we'll get to that. None of it is super complex. It's all very basic gear because I'm a fan of not the gear not getting in the way of me creating. I just want something that plugs in and works and is reliable, and I forget about it. And that's the case with these things. The Sennheiser HD280s, in fact, let's come in because you can take a bit of a closer look. I've had these pair for probably about 5 years now. So they're starting to show a little bit of a sign of wear. Just at the top there, you can see it's sort of coming away a little bit there. But the cushioning, the foam cushioning around these ears goes all the way around, which means they're a closed back headphone. So there's no bleed. They're great for tracking your audio for that reason. So I need to put them back on. I'm getting distracted. Good for tracking your audio because none of the audio that's coming out of the headphones, well, not none, but little amount is actually going to bleed into your microphone. So that's super handy. And they're good for mixing and mastering as well. It's basically the all-rounder, the ones that you want to go for if you're looking for something that is going to give you good quality audio. Now, other people say there's the AKG headphones. I've got a whole range of headphones for about $50 to $100. Who else make good ones? Audio Technica makes some really good headphones. Sennheiser, KRK. So yeah, like most things, if you're shopping around, find what sort of works and looks for you. But my recommendation is make sure that they are closed back. So they're going to go all the way around your ear. If they're open back, it means sound's going to escape. And if you're recording in a microphone, that's not going to work. If you're doing electronic music, no problem, doesn't really matter. But yeah, go for something closed back that's going to be comfortable. And I actually really like these because of the curly cord. The amount of times I've walked away and gone, oh no. And if I didn't have this curly cord, I would have snapped off so many audio jacks and ruined so much gear. Curly cord makes all the difference with them. So yeah, 100% recommend the Sennheiser HD280 Pro, and I'm very sad for the day that they will no longer work for me because yeah, well, I'll buy another pair. Let's be honest. Though if they last me another 2 years and 7 years in, I have to buy another pair for $100. Then I think I've got some pretty epic value out of that. Alrighty, now this is something that I don't talk about a lot because, to be honest, I don't think that people, when you're first getting into home recording, this is not a super essential buy. I think this comes after a lot of the other things that we've already talked about, but people ask me about it and people like to have these in their studio. So let's talk monitor speakers, shall we? So let's talk the KRK Rokit 4s. So these are the ones that I actually use. Now, the reason you can see, look, there's no price here. These are discontinued. So yeah, there's newer versions of these. So the KRK Rokits, they come in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-inch models. So depending on the size of your room, you can get a different pair. And plenty of different people, plenty of different companies make monitor speakers and make good quality monitor speakers. So I'm not saying you have to buy KRK. They're the only ones you can buy. They just happen to be the ones that I've used and I've had for a few years. And they've just, again, simple stuff. You plug them in, they've got good connections, they've got good options to balance out your audio. They give you a nice level sound, and for the price that you pay for them, which is usually only $100 to $200 per speaker, which is not cheap by any means, but it's also not the $1,000 to $2,000 a pair you can pay for really high-end speakers. They really do the job. Let's have a look at mine, shall we? So we'll just take away that and we'll bring in camera 2. Hello, camera 2. Hi. So here is my setup here. So there's my, now I have these in really bad position. So because I do live streaming, I move the studio around a little bit. So anyone who knows about positioning speakers know they shouldn't be on a desk like that. They shouldn't be at that position. And the other one is even worse. It's like down over there in the corner next to my mixer. But when I'm using headphones, it doesn't really matter where they are. They're just in the vicinity. And then if I want to do a serious mixing session with my speakers, I can move them around and put them in the right spot. But I love these. Don't do that, by the way. Don't ever push your cone like that. But yeah, they look good. They sound good. The newer versions look even cooler. Yeah, they're just my go-to speaker. When anyone says, what do you recommend? I'm like, well, I can only recommend what I use, and I use these. So take that for what it's worth. You may find that others work better. And to be honest, even though I would love you to go to my affiliate links and I would love you to click those and buy gear, monitor speakers are probably the one thing that I would say, go to a music store, go to a brick and mortar music store, because you're going to live with these for a really long time. And you probably want to actually sit down and listen to them, take some of your music. The beauty of an iPad is that you could, take a cable that you can actually plug in from your iPad in through some speakers and then play back your music through the monitor speakers, and just sort of sit there and say, if I was mixing on these, would these be feeling right for me? And then try a few different pairs of speakers and just work out what's going to work for you, for your budget, and for the music that you produce as well. Let's continue on. We've got, how many products do we have left? 1, 2, 3. We've got 5 to go. I was saying at the start, the pre-show, that it's Friday the 13th for a lot of folks as we're recording this, and I've got 13 products. So, ooh, it's a little bit mysterious. Definitely unplanned. I'm not smart enough to plan that out, I can assure you. Let's move to my mixer. So we're going to talk mixers here. Now, full disclosure, we've added the wrong thing. We'll add that back in, remove my set camera too. Now, full disclosure, I've been using the Samson MixPad for about 2 years and I love it, and it's done everything I need it to do. It is also about to be replaced. So the only reason it's about to be replaced is that I've just ordered a Zoom Live Track L8, which I'll talk about more in future videos. It's going to arrive in the next week, and it's it's something that I've wanted to check out. The Zoom L12 has been around, and I'm like, I don't need a 12-channel mixer. Zoom L8 came out like a couple of months ago, not even released in Australia. I managed to pick it up on Amazon, and they actually did ship it. Some products they don't ship to Australia. This one they do. So I'll be getting that. And what that is an audio interface mixer hybrid. It does a whole bunch of cool stuff. Anyway, we won't get distracted and talk about it. However, and it also costs about 3 times as much as what we're going to show you here. So we'll bring camera 2 in again, because I actually have my mixer, because I'm using it right this second. So we can actually show you a live demonstration of shaky Blair Witch style camera of my mixer. Here it is. Let's just go back to that view. There we go. So here is my mixer. And why is a mixer good for what I do here for live streaming? Well, what I can do, you can see there at the top right corner there, I've got some plugs in. That's my iPad and my iPhone. So I've got connections over there on the left that are the other ends of those 3.5mm and RCA plugs that I can plug out my audio interface. I can plug out my iPhone and iPad, and they go directly into there, which is super cool. At the top there, we've got 4 preamps. So I'm in channel 1 there. We've got the gain control there. We've got a high pass filter. We've got a compressor on those first 2 channels. We've got 3-band EQ on each channel. We've got effects built into this. And I like sliders. I'm a slider guy. So I like to be able to, so you can see if I put the slider up there, my volume's going to go up on my mic, bring it back down, and the same on the other channels there. Got your master fader over here on the right. And the beauty of this is that if you've ever watched me do a live stream and you're wondering, how does Pete get the audio from his PC to play back? It's through here. So that yellow and red one right over here, this yellow one is actually the PC's output. And what it does is it loops that output back through and then makes that part of the USB that goes out of the mixer into my PC. So there's some pretty cool options that you can use a mixer for. Now, what about for audio recording? So I'm going to move that before my hand starts hurting. We'll throw this one back up. What about for audio recording? When and why would you use a mixer for that? Well, it's the beauty part of a mixer is that while it only outputs, so something like this only outputs 2 channels. So I've knocked my microphone. Only outputs 2 channels of stereo audio. But the good news is that if you get your software and you pan 1 channel hard left and 1 hard right, and you say, use this as channel 1, this is channel 2, you can still plug in like a mic in 1 channel and then a guitar in the 2nd channel and record 2 channels of audio. So it kind of replaces a 2-channel mixer. The other good thing is that if you're doing any sort of live application, live performances, live streaming, podcasting live, it just means that you can bring all of your audio sources together as one. You're not constantly having to plug and play. And for me, I use this for all of my tutorial videos as well, because what I can do, and you can see there's those plugs, I can plug everything in and I can mix as I go. So yes, what I could do is separately record my iPad audio, separately record my PC audio, separately record my microphone audio onto 3 tracks, and then mix it in post. As you may know, I do a video every day. I simply don't have the time. So if you've ever thought, oh, Pete, in that last video, your iPad audio was slightly louder than your microphone, it's probably because I just didn't balance it very well on the way in, and I only have it in 1 stereo channel because I'm using my mixer. So mixers, very cool, something to actually consider if, again, not the sort of first thing that you would ever buy if you were starting out in home recording or in the home studio, but something that's worthwhile. And yes, before you ask, it is compatible with iPhone and iPad via the Lightning to USB 3 adapter, which is, I was going to say it's a good segue. I'm going to jump over that one because I've been talking about this a lot and we need to actually get to it. The Lightning to USB 3 adapter is this. It is the Apple Lightning to USB 3 adapter. It is the genuine one, and I recommend using the genuine Lightning to USB 3 adapter because It works, it's reliable, it's simple, it's effective. It's about $30 to $40 US to buy as well. So it is not cheap, but if you're using an iPhone or an iPad, you kind of need one, because what you can hook up to these is all the stuff we've showed you so far. USB microphones, USB audio interfaces, USB mixers, mice and keyboards, and you can even hook up a powered USB hub and then have everything working at once. So yes, that is why these are an essential piece of kit. So let's throw up my screen here and jump over. This is where they are. This is what they look like. And for whatever reason, I think they're actually sold out on Amazon at the moment. Yeah, good work, Pete. Link people to somewhere where you can't buy them. But there's places where you can buy them refurbished. They get like a 4.5-star rating. And again, because people buy these, usually they'll either buy them and they work, or they buy them after a frustrating experience with a third-party one that costs about half as much and works about none. Then that's probably why people are pretty happy with these. But again, very simple design, and unlike a lot of these sort of things. So I know it's a piece of plastic, and you're saying, Pete, it's a piece of plastic, but I've used this, I've thrown this around, it's been connected in weird positions to a bunch of different stuff. It's actually made well. So the connections on this cable have not frayed, have not moved, have not changed in that entire time. It's actually built tough. It's not like a thin bit of plastic. It's actually pretty good. And I know, getting excited about the thickness of plastic, but if you've ever had dodgy lightning cables, including the genuine, Apple to USB ones that you get for your charging, you'll know what I mean. They fray, they bend, and then after about 6 months, they don't work at all. This I've had 3 years, works like a treat. Alrighty, let's continue on. We're going to I'll segue off while we're talking USB. I'll segue off to a couple of these things, and then we'll finish off with the one thing that you're probably saying is missing, which is MIDI keyboard. So we'll finish with the MIDI keyboard, and then we'll be pretty much done here. If you are getting value out of this, or if you found this interesting, hit the like button. That just tells me that, yep, you want to see more videos like this. And again, quick reminder to go to studiolivetoday.com/gear to check out all of the gear that we are looking at here. This next piece of gear is something I don't say many things are essential to your recording, but especially if you're a mobile recording person on an iPad or an iPhone, or even if you're on your Mac or PC, I think you should get one of these. It is the Tendak powered USB 3 hub. So what does this do? Why do you need one? So if you're plugging in a lot of USB devices, what you'll find is that they all use power. Now, if you're using an iPhone or iPad through your Lightning to USB adapter, you'll find that very quickly that things use too much power, and you'll get that annoying message saying this device uses too much power. So what you need to do is have a way to power up those devices so that your iPad and your iPhone can accept them. And sadly, even things like USB flash drives use too much power without some sort of additional power. Now, you do have the option here on your Lightning to USB 3 adapter, this one here, to actually plug into a Lightning cable and add additional power that way. But if you if that's not providing enough power and you're using multiple devices, then a powered USB hub is where it's at. So let's take a quick tour around this one. So you've got on the front there, you've got your 4 ports. There's actually a 5th port on the top. Let's see if we can see it. There it is. The 5th port there is a charging only port. So you can actually charge up other devices, your iPhone or your iPad, as well as connecting both power and data. And this is the important thing. I did a video recently about what the difference is between a powered USB hub and a powered charger, or like a power bank that you get that you just plug in and charge your devices. The power bank, the chargers, are only power. You need a powered hub, because the hub part of it is the data. The powered part of it is the charging and the powering up. So you want a powered USB hub. The reason I love this one is it's $20, so $19.99, and I've been using it for a bit over 3 months now, and it works so well. Like every time it plugs in and it works and it's effective. And I think you might have seen it before when I showed you my setup, but let's bring in camera 2, shall we? Come on, camera 2, don't be shy. I've lost my mouse. There we go. And we'll take that off there. So here is my powered USB hub. And you can see there that it's very cool, because at the moment it's just got my mouse and keyboard. Yep, so you can use a mouse and keyboard with your iPad plugged in there, and the port is on. We can hold it down and turn it off. We can plug in up to 3 other things, and yet you can turn on and off each port by doing that. And then at the end there is that additional charger port. So yeah, there's just plenty of options for what we can do with this. And yes, you might be thinking, Pete, if you're portable and you're on the go, well, what if you don't have AC power? Well, the other cool thing is that you can actually power these up using a power bank. So using like power bank like that to actually charge them on the go. So if you're not near a power outlet, we'll just remove that one. If you're not near a power outlet, you can actually use a battery charger to actually power them up. So I've done a video recently about that as well, which I'll hopefully remember to link in the description below after the show. But if you search Pete Johns and then USB hub, you'll find a heap of them. And if you find the one where I say portable USB hub, then that'll be the one to look for. So yeah, an essential piece of kit. And for $20, I would just buy one and have one around. If you have $20 to spend and you're going to buy one piece of gear for your home studio to up your game, I would go with that one. While we're talking USB power, there's two USB chargers that I recommend. The one, if you're going to buy one, it is this one. And we'll go back, we'll add it back in to the stream. It is this, and I have it here. It's the ROMOSS QS10. Is that what it's called? QS10? Yeah. Why do I like this one? Well, you can see there. Look how cool is this? It's actually got all the cables you need built in. So it has got, by default, it's got the micro USB there, but it's also got a lightning adapter and a USB-C adapter on there. So you take this one with you and you can plug in anything. Like I love having this with me because if someone says, I've got my Samsung phone, I've got my blah phone, I've got my iPhone, do you have some charge? I'm like, yep, I can hook you up with this one. And the other beauty part of this is that you can actually charge it. We'll just bring this back over here. You can actually charge it up using any type of cable as well. So again, you've got micro USB, you've got USB-C, and you've got lightning, and you just plug in any cable anywhere. So wherever you are, you can charge it. And then wherever you are, you can just take the end out of this one, boom, and then plug it into its little lightning adapter in the end there, boom. And then there you go. You're ready to go. You're ready to charge. And this one, I've been using it yesterday. I need to charge it. It's only got two lights of charge, but 10,000 milliamp, enough to keep you going wherever you're going. The only thing is it doesn't have a USB port on board. So the one I recommend if you want ones that actually have like the dual USB ports is the OM10, which is similar to this, which is also like about the same price, same sort of thing. But that is my recommendation for charging on the go. If you're a mobile creator, that is what I would recommend. All right, we are in that homeward stretch here. We've got through 13 products, and how long have we been? Just over 30 minutes. I think that's a pretty good deal, but we are finishing up here in just a moment, and we're finishing with a bang because a lot of what I've talked about has been for, you know, your singer-songwriters, those wanting to record guitars and microphones and more live music. For an electronic music producer, the piece of kit that I think is almost essential. Yes, if you're using iPhone or iPad, you can use your touch screen. Yes, if you're using Mac or PC, you can browse your loops and you can tap in and edit and do all that sort of thing. But if you want to take it to the next level, you know where I'm going with this, MIDI keyboard. Yeah, so I've got, in fact, you can't see them, but they're behind me. Can we see them if we do that? No, they're behind my head. Yep, there they are. So I have two MIDI keyboards. I've got a Korg micro keys, and I've got a very early version of this sucker here, which is the M Audio key station. And I know a lot of folks that use M Audio, they're similar to Samson and Steinberg. What you'll notice here is the brands I recommend are the ones that are they're not the top end brands, but if you buy the good versions of these middle of the road brands, you get so much bang for your buck. You get so much value in what you actually get. And the Keystation 49 has basically everything that you need to get started. It's 49 keys with velocity sensitivity, not weighted. So if you need weighted keys, you'll need to go for something a little bit higher end. But velocity sensitive, you've got your pitch bend and your modulation wheels there, volume control, octave controls to go up and down. And then you've got 49 nice keys there. You've got a sustain pedal input on the back. If we can find the other pictures, it's not going to show us. Need to do better pictures. People want to see the backs of your products, people. You can't see it. So it has a USB port and a sustain pedal input on the back, which means you can plug in a sustain pedal and you can connect it via USB. And yeah, it is just a nice, simple, basic design that is going to work in well with pretty much any studio. Now you can go up, you can look at things like the Akai brand. They make a lot of good stuff. Anything by Novation is going to be a good option. And you can buy the Code series. So I think our friend Jade Starr, who's here on the stream, uses the M Audio Code, which are just a higher end version that have I think the semi-weighted keys and a few other things. But the beauty part of this is that even if you're not a keyboard player, you can program in drums, so you can actually hit the MIDI keyboard and play your drums on that. If you're just putting in a simple melody, you can do that. So even the rhythm or the melody that you're putting in there. So you don't have to actually be a piano player to actually enjoy a MIDI keyboard. If you are creating any sort of music to trigger things, you can actually use a MIDI keyboard to do that. And Jade here in the chat says, yes, she has the code 49. So, I've seen and heard what she produces with that. So highly recommended by the sounds of it. But, and we've got Battalion here who says he's got the Alesis V39. So yeah, Alesis is the other brand that I would throw in there with Novation, Akai, M Audio, Korg. You really can't go wrong. The only thing I would say is, and probably a good warning to say at the end of the show here, you'll notice here that everything I've presented is at least some sort of brand name of sorts. And I know some people like look down their nose at things like Samson and Behringer and M Audio and even Steinberg. But the thing is, these are good quality products and they work. Do be wary, like you do get what you pay for. So sometimes you'll see, so for MIDI keyboards, for instance, you can buy like a $30 or a $20 MIDI keyboard with like 25 keys on Amazon or on eBay. You're going to get what you pay for. It might work. It might be exactly what you need. It might work out of the box and it might be perfect for you forever. I'm definitely not a snob when it comes to audio gear. I don't think you need to buy the top end and buy things at the higher end of the budget range, but I do think you need to be cautious when you're out there shopping around that yes, you will get what you pay for. And sometimes, and I'll put this up here again, sometimes you can skimp on something that you think, hey, I got away with a $15 instead of a $35 adapter. And then you're halfway through a face melting guitar solo and it cuts out and you feel really sad. So I don't want you to feel sad and I don't want you to have buyer's remorse and regret. So that's why in this video, I wanted to show you all of the gear that I actually use and recommend here in the home studio. That is going to do it for this one. Once again, if you got some value out of this one, hit the like button. That tells me that you like seeing these sort of videos and you appreciate it. If you want to check out any of this gear, there are links down in the description, or you can go over to studiolivetoday.com/gear. If there are links that are not working or things that are missing from there, or your country is not supported and you want to let me know, pete@studiolivetoday.com. You can hit me up on email or find all the social places that you can connect with me. They're all down in the description as well. Thanks again for watching, folks. I'll see you next time.